Shalom, shalom. Today I'd like to share with us concerning a topic that is very important, and it's the description of a household that honors God. And the Bible describes the relationship of a husband and a wife in the book of Ephesians compared to that of Christ with the church. And when Apostle Paul writes this portion, he insists on two things: love and respect. He encourages the husband to love the wife as he loves himself, as he takes care of himself, of his body. He should consider to take care of his wife in everything. Then he encourages the wife to respect the husband in everything, because the husband, he says, is the head of the house, as Christ is the head of the church. Christ being the head of the church, he was crucified and died for the church, his body. A living church is a church that Christ is the head. An household that is living is an household that the husband is considered the head. When I say the head, it doesn't mean that the wife has no voice. No. Look at the relationship between the church and Christ. Christ will give insight. Christ will give, the go-ahead as the head of the church. When the voice of Christ is released in the church, it comes with authority, divine authority. Christ earned that authority and glory because of obedience. Christ being made the head of everything, it is not something that he just acquired. Remember, Satan took the authority and dominion from mankind when they sinned. So Adam being the head, the woman was made out of Adam. The woman was a helper. The vision of God was installed in Adam. The reason why the woman was brought into the scene, it was because the man was lonely and the man needed a helper. So for a living household, it is important to understand this aspect, that in a society, in a nation, in our world, the simplest unit that brings together God and our world is family. It is upon a single family that a community's, a prosperous community can be built. A God-fearing family is very impactful. And in Proverbs, there is Proverbs 31 from verse 10 to 31 describes a woman, a wife of a noble character. So there are a lot of descriptions here, but what stands out is there is this verse that says, "Charm is deceitful and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate." So if you read from verse 10 to 31, it describes how this noble woman lives and how her life impacts even the husband. In verse 23 it says, "A husband is respected at the city gate, when he takes his seat among the elders of the land. You know, the husband is respected because his household is in order. Because, you know, the nakedness of the household is taken care of. They never lack. A lot of things is being described, but what stands out is a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So when you look at this woman, she's described as someone who has a wisdom. Yeah, she speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. Remember, the fear of God is the beginning of everything. What I came to learn from this portion is that this noble wife has the fear of God in her. You know, for us humans, for us to be productive, for us to be praiseworthy, for us to be a blessing divinely, is through the fear of God. God will only deposit his glory. God will only deposit his praise. God will only deposit his honor. God will only deposit his wisdom, his wealth to a vessel that honors him. So this wife, the Bible describes her as a wife. This wife's secret is the fear of the Lord. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of everything. For an household to stand, for an household to be impactful, the fear of the Lord is the foundation. Love and respect is the fruit, but the seed is the fear of God. So at a personal level, desire to fear God, desire to honor God. God will never contradict. God will never cause chaos. He will never instruct you in a different way and instruct her in a different way. Trust me, as long as you bow to listen, as long as you walk in obedience, you will speak one language. That is how God works. Whenever you see people speaking two languages, different languages, is because of, this thing, the fear of God. So when the fear of God is absent, you will never respect your husband. You will never love your wife. So Christ feared the instruction of the Father. That's why he faced the cross. That's why he retained the authority. That's why today a living household is described by his relationship with the church. Christ gave up his life because he loved. How did he show his love? Because he obeyed the voice of the Father. So if you want to be a good wife, if you want to be a good husband, it begins with a personal relationship with God. Thanks be to God. Salvation is the foundation. There are many people people are getting, families are being established in many different ways. But the one I'm talking about is built on Christ. So if you want to become that good wife and a good husband, Christ is the foundation. Work on your salvation, align yourself with God, and God will align you in a household that intends you to walk into. So may the Lord bless us. And for you to honor your husband, for you to respect your husband, you need to bow. It's all about humility. You need to bow and pray. The moment you bow before God, it will show humility. And for the husband to love and to see the wife in the eyes of Christ, that's humility. Obedience is the best expression of humility. When you humble yourself, God will glorify you. So may the Lord bless you. Desire to be that noble wife and a God-fearing husband. Shalom.